So, we're going to listen to the Spaniard. Welcome back to Spotlight. Shaw's Spotlight is on Manfred's guitar. Wherever you are in your living room, don't touch that channel flipper. I'm here for you. And so is Brandon Schmor, all the way from Vernon. Before we start the music, I just came back from Portugal, Lisbon. Had a fantastic time, lost in Toledo, met some wonderful musicians in Fez in Morocco. And on the way home back, knowing that we were going to do this, I thought to myself, what do I do to open up the show? So, a lonely Spaniard, a little bit of Spanish music. Brandon is here with us, and I think, Brandon, what you're going to do is twinkle the keyboard a little bit to see if the beast is in tune, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Schmor from Vernon, a really great guy, won lots of accolades, lots of awards. Brandon, how are you?
Very well. Very, very well.
How's the piece sounding?
Let's see.
So what you did, you just ran your fingers over the keyboards, stuff that you liked, and you checked it out to see if all the keys are there, and everything works. You're happy with that?
Yes. Well, it has 88 keys, and it feels like a piano, so I'm not picky, not at all.
And Brandon, just before we start the business of your ability to play like mad, later on you're going to play one of your own songs. Where can people find the music for this?
Well, unless you want to poke into my brain, because unfortunately I don't read or write sheet music, so all of the music is in here. So, if you want it, you got to come and get it.
So that's what I mean about Brandon, folks. He doesn't read a single note, and he can do this stuff without too much thought, and he's a charm. Brings us, Brandon, to a little bit about yourself. How many pianos do you have now?
It usually varies from time to time. At one point I admittedly was shamefully up to 80 pianos and organs. I mean, full-size antique pianos and old pump organs, like the old reed organs. And I had to, after realizing that I needed to find homes for at least some of these, I think I was down to 30 at one point, but now I'm back up to 50 because, well, I can't turn away a piano that needs a home.
You said 50. You've got 50 pianos.
Yeah, I went overboard again, but I'm happy this time because these are good quality historical pieces, beautiful instruments.
How many have I seen?
You've only seen very few. You just the ones located in the main section of the house, which has, I want to say, 7 pianos in the parlor.
And you fix them?
Yes, I do the necessary work myself. I find that if I were to hire a piano tuner for every single piano that I collected, I'd be even more out of cash than I could ever begin to imagine.
Do you realize this is a dangerous topic? Ask me why.
Why?
What if people out there watching the Spotlight program have a spare piano that they don't want and they find out about you? Then what?
Well, you know me and pianos. Pianos and I have a very
strong, eclectic, and serious relationship.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah.
And just for there are lots of pianists, lots of piano players in the Okanagan, tons of them, great piano players, fantastic ones. And the piano players know what you're talking about. It's a program about Manfred's guitar, but we're really, really lucky because we can find people like you to talk and speak eloquently about what you like to play. This program is not just about guitars. Please get a hold of Sean, get a hold of me at some point, and find out through, what's that, YouTube?
Yeah, I suppose I have a few things, but nothing professional.
Google YouTube and look for some of the past shows, because people are starting to see the thing outside of Canada.
Yes, indeed.
So, almost lastly, what are some of your favorite pianos that you have, whether they work or not, or whether they're in great condition or what? But you've got some real dillies, and you showed them to me. There's some people out there that would like to know what you've got your meat hooks on.
Yes, well, that's the fascinating thing about pianos, is that generally they're quite diverse amongst one another, especially when you get into the pre-turn of the century era. One, of course, is my beloved prized 1853 Chickering square grand piano made in Boston prior to the Civil War. And so this particular piano is a magnificent rosewood, and coincidentally, for being of that age, is a beautiful playing instrument. A square ground piano is the kind that you see that are rectangular. You don't see them very often anymore. It's 4 legs and rectangular. As well as that, I have myself a Mason and Riche 1919 art case grand piano, which has beautifully carved legs, and it's a fantastic piece. And of course, my very unusual Heinzmann transposing piano, similar to that which was used by Irving Berlin, the composer. Yes, indeed. The piano actually is able to transpose the key that you play in without physically having to transpose the key by shifting a lever that moves the keyboard up and down in relation to the action. It's an interesting fact because Irving Berlin, White Christmas Irving Berlin, preferred, he was self-taught, much like myself, but he really did prefer to play in the key of F sharp. Now, I can't fathom why, because F sharp isn't exactly a very comfortable key to play in, but genius works in many ways, and so when live performing especially with other singers, he would use the piano as such.
So what he's talking about is kind of interesting for guitar players. The piano he's talking about has a lever underneath it, so you kick that or pull that or push that. That's the business of transposing. And while we're on the subject of transposing, we're going to transfer Manfred's mouse over to the special guest. And in this case, put your hands together and give Brandon an applause. We need it. Let's go. Because we're running out of time. And Brandon, you're going to play
an original tune of my own. Yes, indeed. I don't just listen to songs and play them. I also compose originals, which are, in my head.